Show. This is the Big O 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 Show.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new Integra. Only $299 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Link, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Link. Be the maestro of your own home.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ADX. Only $299 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The Sultan's choice for excitement and a caravan of savings awaits at Toyota of Hollywood. Your wish for savings has been granted with discounts of up to $4,500. Take a magic carpet ride in a Toyota Corolla. Not $24,000, $19,988. Step into our Grand Bazaar where you'll find epic savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer, Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store. Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days. From Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ZDX. Only $459 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The game is final. Tua and the boys are in the locker room. let's go over what happened in this game in our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The post-game show is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, Toyota of Hollywood, RM Contractors. The stats are final. The insiders are ready. The platform is mastered by the one and only Sean Stanley. Now, let's find out what the Big O thinks about this matchup as we start our Dolphins post-game show. Here's Big O.
Well, I got to tell you, I am as happy as I could possibly be when I was kind of expecting like the worst. You know, the last 2 weeks they had played down to their competition. I told you guys in the pregame show, I didn't like the Dolphins today. The last 2 weeks they had played against the Saints, who, by the way, just beat the Bucs. And then Washington got killed like 31-0. And they barely beat two shitty teams. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, my God, now they're going to go to New York. It's the 30s or, low 40s. They don't play well in the cold as a team historically, Tua, this, that. And so I didn't feel well about it because it's just Dolphins, Jets. You just never know the crazy shit that will happen. So here we go. Mike McDaniel comes out, runs like what he's supposed to run, a run-oriented offense, and they take off to a 21-0 lead. And we're all sitting there going, wow, all right, this is good. And then all of a sudden, Mike McDaniel becomes Mike McDaniel again. And he starts going to a pass-oriented offense, which then it's like, bro, read the room. You're like, Tua doesn't have time. Plus, he's not playing well. Plus, your offensive line and your running game, it's what they do well. They don't pass protect well. They run block. They're good at run blocking. So, like the craziest shit. And then we get like into a lull in the game where you kind of like, the same thing. Like Tua kept the Saints in the game last week. McDaniel kept the Jets in the game for, not really, the Jets weren't really a threat offensively because the defense really, this game was like the offense started early and the defense finished the game, because that's really what happened today. The defense dominated. You just gave them the points and then the rest was done by the defense, but in the middle, you could have blown them out by more, as you all know. And he starts doing all the stupid shit again. And then you get back to, okay, no, maybe he had no choice to go to Jay Wright and all that, but whatever it was, he went back to the run and got that last drive, and then that was, it was over and done, and that's it. It was the weirdest game because, again, it shows you why he's a terrible coach, because he still doesn't get it. You know what I'm saying? He just still does. He doesn't see his team right now. He's got a struggling quarterback. He's got a line that can't pass block. So outside of the first read, you don't have time for a second or a third read. There's no time back there. It's ridiculous. Tua was throwing a short route and he had on the touchdown, and he was already getting hit on that touchdown pass. It's like the stupidest thing in the world. Passing is really difficult for this team because you don't have a pass blocking line, and your quarterback doesn't have right now the confidence, the mojo. None of that. He'll hit a couple passes for you, but he's not the guy that he was 2 years ago. So why would you call that kind of an offense? You know what I mean? So it just proves again why why everything needs to be completely blown up, and you need to move on from everything, from Tua or whatever, and definitely from Mike McDaniel. It's the funny stuff that you watch what happened against the Saints and against Washington, and now even in the middle of this game, and yet the reports out there that you want to keep McDaniel is just stupid. You know what I mean? Today it was about the running game. HN, we'll get to the injury, of course. And the defense was beautiful today, man. The defense was awesome. I mean, Jesus Christ, what was it? 6 sacks, right? They ended with, I want to say, it was 6 sacks, and Sealer got 2.5 of them. So yeah, 6 sacks. That was the final number, 6 sacks. I mean, Jesus Christ. Sealer had 2.5. Judon had 1. Chop had 1. Chubb had a half. 3 interceptions as the great white wonder. Ethan Bonner got 1 along with Rasul and Tyrell Dodson. Tyrell Dodson, I guess, is what was the name of the you remember, Sean? You're old enough, or some of you out there might be old enough too. Suzanne Summers, she was doing some shit that it was like the hip flexor, or it was like you remember that she used to sell that shit where the 2 thighs would come together. It was some machine. I think Tyrell Dodson got that from his mom or some shit down the line and passed it to him, and he was working it because that helped in that interception right there. I forgot the name of that contraption, and I know it was Suzanne Summers. Okay. Butt lifter, butt tighter.
Thigh master.
Thigh master. Oh, there you go, you bastards. There you go, Thigh Master. Thank you. Thigh Master. Thigh Master. How about that? Tyrell Dodson working the Thigh Master. He has a Suzanne Summers Thigh Master somewhere. He's not fooling me. He's not fooling me. Okay? No doubt about that. But the defense was awesome today. The running game was beautiful. Right? Well, wait a minute. It was 110 when I last saw it. Let me see what he ended up with. 107. Yeah, because he lost a little yards there at the end. So, anyways, but he was Jay Wright was fantastic. He got his opportunity, and he got to shine. Ollie Gordon scores the touchdown. The running game was a bright spot. You know what I mean? I know losing HN now, it's going to get interesting for the team as their schedule, gets a little harder. By the way, let me see what happened. What happened in that Pittsburgh Ravens game? Pittsburgh did win. So they won 27-22, and Miami plays Pittsburgh next. Well, is it next? Or let me see. Want to make sure I'm not talking out of line here. Where are we going to? Let me see. Yeah, it is Pittsburgh next on Monday night. Yay, Sean! A Monday night post game. Aren't you looking forward to that, young man? Hey, at least we're at Hialeah's on Tuesdays now. So,
almost as much as I'm looking forward to the Sunday night game in Cincinnati following it.
Well, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule. Oh, God. Anyway, it is what it is. Hey, by the way, this is the year for Lamar Jackson? Or is it going to be next year now? Because I keep hearing this every year, how he is how did he play today? I didn't watch. I was watching all Dolphins and Jets. I don't really care about this. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a whole 219 yards. Shocker. He didn't dominate on the ground. 7 for 43 and a touchdown. Yeah, I guess so. I guess they weren't dominating on the ground, But hey, don't worry about you. All of you guys out there can tell me that next year it's Lamar, because he's the end all be all. He's gonna win it all. Gus says Lamar pooped the bed. He did. I didn't watch the game. I don't know. Listen. I don't need to watch season after season. I know how the soap opera always ends. If he gets on a big stage, he needs Depends because he poops his pants because that's what he does. You know what I'm saying? But, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, let's hope now that the injury to Devon Achane is not a serious thing. Let's hope the kid can come back soon. I mean, and this is one you got to measure, because if you're not really a playoff team Do you want to force him back from again, I'm talking out of place here. It's too hypothetical. I don't know how bad this rib injury is. We need to find out. You know what I mean? Sean, they're at the podium, so I'm sure they're going to ask McDoofus what's going on with Achan. We'll ask Furones and we'll ask Chris Perkins and all that. Furones is there, so we'll ask and we'll find out if they're. I mean, I doubt they'll tell us anything, but we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe a national guy will get it from the agent or something. Who knows? Something along those lines. We'll find out. But let's hope it's not serious. Good thing is Jay Wright looked good, and he's going to have to continue to look good. And Ollie, so the backs are looking good. There's a lot of things that as the season's gone on, it's developed. And a lot of the young guys, like today, Savanaia was showcased a whole bunch, which it shows that he's getting better. Their defensive tackles are getting better. That's, it's pretty cool to watch some of these young draft picks that they're developing along the way as this season goes on. Hey, the Dulcich kid, you found that guy off the street. That's a really good find overall off the street. You think about Julian and Dulcich. These are guys that they found off the street. And then Darren Waller, after you lose your starter, I mean, they've been able to kind of, find stuff. I know the guy's not here anymore, but I'm just saying, and the running backs, well, the running backs are doing well, when they use them, actually. When they stick to them, they can actually do well. Jay Wright's a draft pick. There he is. He's actually doing well now because you're using him. Ollie Gordon, you needed to hammer that touchdown in. You got it with Ollie. So some of these guys, it's pretty cool to see them also, play well and contribute. Remember, please, one of the most important things you can do for the show, seriously, is smash the hell out of the like button. Okay, that's something that gets the algorithms going. We only got 76 likes right now. We got like 460 people watching right now. So that's a lot of you that are watching, and you're not even hitting the like button, which is, come on, man. Come on, man. Let's go. And the notification bell is great. It's also on the right side. You hit the notification bell. That'll tell you it'll give you a heads up a half hour before when we're going to go on and when we go live. So you'll get a heads up, and that way you'll know, just in case if you're busy, because you do have a life, and it might get past you or something like that, and show goes live or some kind of a rant or breaking news or something that happens on the platform, you'll get the first go on it, and you'll know when we're on. So appreciate you all out there. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. Remember, send in your questions, comments, insults, all kinds of good stuff. That's fine with me. Faces of Randomness. Thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Appreciate you. And he says, no miracle today, Jets fans. HM played great. Also, congrats to Inter Miami and Messi. Okay, Dolphins, it's your turn. Bring us a championship. Yeah, well, don't hold your breath on that one, my brother. They're so far away. One guy goes, Tua's going to keep us from the playoffs. I said, no, it's Stephen Ross, you moron. He's owned the team for 15 years. Okay. Manny J. Snow. Thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. He says, Inter Miami won the chip. Canes are in the playoffs, and our Dolphins pull the win. Can McDaniel run the damn ball? Oh, and by the way, can special teams coach get his ass called out by the coach? Yes. Yeah, that was, but listen, overall, they dominated. They dominated. For me, I had more problems with McDaniel not understanding who his team is on a consistent basis, which I don't get it. You know what I mean? I don't get it, to be quite honest. I just don't get it at all. Don't understand it. How he just brain farts and completely forgets what the hell is going on and who his team is. Let's see. We go with Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Peter German says, take the W, a Perdomo cigar for the O-line, tight ends, and running backs. Glad to McDaniel sticking with the run. Maybe you can teach a blind man to see. And let's give the Miami Dolphins a victory cigar. Adam Pinkser. Hope you're doing well there in Indy, sir. I know that the quarterback, his legs are imploding, unfortunately, over there in Indy. They kind of went a little too in on this team, and they gave away picks and all that, and yes, that's not going to work out for them. Anyway, Adam, who is a Dolphin fan there in Indianapolis, says it's always great to beat the Jets or Shits, but I hope Achane is okay. They will absolutely need him next week. My wife wanted to know why I was so worried when Miami was up 3 scores. I told her McDaniel and Tua could screw this up. Yes. Bro, how do you call a screen inside your 5? Like, how stupid of a coach are you, dude? Seriously. Like, how stupid of a coach are you for calling that screen? There are things that McDaniel does. There's no way he should be employed, dude. He should have been fired a long time ago. The great Joe Caracciolo on Venmo. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. We love the super chats. They're on YouTube, but they take away 30%. That's why we encourage Cash App or Venmo, because the show gets 100%, and it's better for us. Joe Caracciolo says, Big O, the running game gave me tears of joy. Game ball to the O-line. What a difference Jackson makes. New tight end, too. Great day for Miami all around, college and pro. Love the show. Yes, because UM got in. Now make it count. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you. See you at a concert again one day. Anthony Lizzie. He says, I'm happy for the win. And thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. Don't get me wrong, but I'm concerned that these wins will confuse Ross and get him to keep McDaniel next year, which, again, Anthony, I don't understand any of that. And I talked about it in the pregame show. I have all the respect in the world. I know Jeremy Fowler well, dude, okay? I've had him on my show a whole bunch of times over the years. Dan Graziano is a guy that's from here, actually. Worked at the Sentinel years ago. He's a good dude, super responsible, knows his shit. He's not going to throw stuff out there. So when guys like that start getting that kind of, stuff from the building, there has to be some truth to it. And there has to be somebody in the building saying that stupid shit. And how Ross would ever think of keeping McDaniel when he shouldn't even be employed, it's disgusting. It's a disrespect. But then again, he doesn't respect the fans. He doesn't care about it. The logo. He'd rather care about his logo. And in the end, he doesn't care about winning, because if you're keeping – the fact that you've already kept McDaniel around shows that you really don't care about winning. Just shows that. And the fact that you would put that garbage out there, that's just ridiculous. Ed Marti, thank you, sir. Says, Merry Christmas. Thanks for the great podcast and text chats. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, as always. It's kind of what it is, man, You communicate with the folks, and we appreciate the support. Very kind. Thank you for your generosity. The great Hateful Steve on Venmo. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Hateful Steve says, I still contend that we should have let Tua hit the open market when no one was going to give him anywhere near $50 million a year. Then let him come back for a significantly weaker negotiating position. We sure as hell wouldn't be stuck like we are now. Okay, but it's water under the bridge. You know what I mean? I would have fired McDaniel last year after the Colts loss and would have gone after Vrabel. Water under a bridge. What are we going to do? We have a stupid owner, Steve. We have an owner that extended Mike McDaniel. Forget about keeping him around. The moron extended Mike McDaniel for no reason. You can't win with an owner like that. Stephen Ross is a stupid man when it comes to football. And by the way, he's surrounded by people that don't know jack shit either, because all those people have been around him for 15 years. So, it's funny. What's hilarious? And again, he's my favorite player of all time. Dan Marino should be the GM, bro. Dan Marino's there in the suite with him all the time. You think Stephen Ross doesn't ask him his opinion? So all those people have given opinions that have led to whatever the Dolphins have been for the last 15 years. They've either agreed with them or have guided them to another way, and it's all part. He doesn't have one person out there that knows what the hell they're doing in his ear, because if they did, we would be in a different position as a franchise. So think about that really hard before you overreact on any, all that stuff. All those people that are in that suite, none of them are helping the Miami Dolphins. None of them are helping the Miami Dolphins on the field at all. And they've been around that man for years. Okay? All of them have been around. You think through all the bullshit that's gone on over 15 years in that box, would you not like recordings of it? Would you? Would you like to have the recordings during halftime? Would you like to have the recordings in pregame, postgame, during the game? Would you like to have those recordings inside that suite for the last 15 years? And I bet you they all had opinions going on and flying around and what they think should do. And I'm sure the owner says, what do you think? Should I keep him? Should I extend Joe Philbin? I don't know. Some of those people in that room must have said, yeah, why not? Hey, Dan, what do you think of Pat White? All right. Probably not. That was a Parcells thing. He's not going to give a shit what Marino or Jason Taylor was thinking. Steve M. Hateful Steve again on Venmo. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, man. Much love. Says, speaking of quarterbacks that are better than Tua, what did you think of Mendoza kid last night? The hit he took to start the game would have landed Tua in the ICU. Mendoza is a fantastic college football player. I think he's got a chance to be a decent NFL starter. But Miami has no shot at him anyway, so moot point. Because he'll be, top 5 pick, and Miami is winning too many games to pick a quarterback again this year. So it is what it is. But dude, he won the Big Ten, and he won against Ohio State in that defense, and he brought it. So I'm going to give him mad props. Mad props. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Ocala Joe, thank you for the love on Cash App. He says, happy to donate after we beat the stinking Jets. It is beautiful to beat the stinking Jets. It's always nice to beat the stinking Jets. Lenny the locksmith. Thank you, sir, for the love on Cash App. He says, for all we had to was run from the beginning of the year. Yeah. Well, and last year and the year before, it should have always been a run-based offense. You don't have the quarterback that can stand there without a running game, and you don't have that guy that I usually – by the way, oh, my God, my Marino fell. You don't have this guy that had no running game whatsoever. That you can get away with this. You're not going to win anything, but you could get away with it. You can entertain. You can score some points. You can win some games. You're not going to win anything major because you don't have a running game, but you can get away with it. That Tua's not this guy, So that's where it changes, and he should have been running from the get-go. He was the run coordinator in San Francisco. And you drafted a quarterback that plays off of play action. That's how he's at his best. So, and you never really developed a line that he can sit back there for 3 seconds. Or even sometimes, like I see some, I saw the kid from Ohio State complete a touchdown where he had 6 seconds to throw the ball. It's crazy. And you see it in the NFL. There are times where a guy will get 3.5, 4, 4.5 seconds. It's, it doesn't happen a ton, but some of those really good quarterbacks with some of their good lines, give them that. Tua never gets that. So why would you call these kind of offenses? Why would you not be a running offense from the get-go? Lenny, you see it. ton of you that are on the chat board. You all know they should have been running years ago. And yet we have this idiot keeps doing, and he did it again today. It'll never get out of his system. It's like a crack addict. And he's got to go back to the pipe. I don't know what it is. It's like an alcoholic. You got to go back to the bottle. I don't know. Maybe the wrong thing to use for Mike McDaniel, but, it's not the comparison you really want to use. I get it, but it's what it looks like. It's like you cannot help yourself. Whatever addiction it is you have, like me for food or something, whatever it is, you can't stay away from it. A chicken biscuit from Chick-fil-A. I can't stay away from it. Got to go back to it. So Mike McDaniel, this is his bugaboo. And he never learns. Never learns, dude. Never, ever learns. That's why we took a 21-0 lead, and all of a sudden, we all started to feel uneasy with the situation. Like, oh, my God, are they going to give this away now? This guy, didn't he see how he took a lead? It's like watching Darren Waller kick ass. You're using him a whole half, and you take a 17-0 lead, and then the second half, you can't find a way to get him the ball. Huh? Don't tell me they schemed him out. You're just a bad coach. That's what it is. David Refford, thank you, sir, for the love on Cash App. Great win. Can the Finns win 9? I'll play the schedule game now at this point. I'm going to go at Pittsburgh, a loss, versus Cincinnati. I'm going to go loss. Tampa, they got a shot. And New England, a loss. So they're going to end up 7-10. I wonder what I predicted. So I predicted 7-10. I think I'm looking at 7-10. Pittsburgh kind of fraudulent, but so are the Ravens, and so I'm going to take my chances that Joe Burrow is going to outduel Tua. And in Pittsburgh, I got to see it to believe it that Mike McDaniel is going to bring that team there to Pittsburgh and eke one out. We'll see. They can get to 8 if they beat Pittsburgh, because they got a chance to beat Pittsburgh and Tampa. They will lose to Cincinnati and New England. So that's the way I look at it. Just don't kill yourself about a winning season or the playoffs or anything like that. That's just not stuff that's going to happen. You know what I mean? By the way, let's do this because I don't know what's going to happen with this young man. We're going to find out, but we always got to determine who's our Murias Dental MVP of the game.
Who's last night's MVP? There's only one MVP for your family's dental care.
Murias Dental. Get your smile back at Murias Dental. Visit them on Instagram at murias.dental.
Here's our Murias Dental MVP of the night.
Guy that's the team MVP. He's the guy that's the MVP of the offense. He is an MVP quality individual. He's an MVP quality professional, and he has been the most consistent player we have had here for 3 straight years. Nobody has been more consistent than Devon Achane. And hopefully this rib injury isn't serious. Hopefully it's just some kind of a bruise and they were being more precautionary, and he can get back to what we were talking about 2 weeks ago on the show, that he's got an opportunity to become the second leading rusher in Miami Dolphin history after Ricky Williams' 1,800-yard season, that he can beat Ricky Williams' second year, which is the second best one. So we'll see. We'll see if he can get back. But today, 7 rushes for 92 yards and a touchdown. Okay? Not to diminish anything that Jay Wright did, but for 107 yards, he needed 24 carries. For 92 yards, Achane needed 7. He is a great player. Why? because he makes it look easy. He makes it look so easy that it's just not that way. And take it from you, take it from me. We have been around together for years and years and from the beginning of time. And we know that over the last 20, 30 years, there aren't a lot of seasons where the run game is actually, and Devon Achane is rare for us here. We only have the Ajayi year, we have the Lamar Smith year, we have the 2 Ricky Williams years, but we don't have a lot of them over the years. Even Mostert, it was a lot of touchdowns, but, it's not like this. This is different. And so this guy, he had 1 reception for 13 yards. He does it all, man. He does it all. And he has been super durable. And this, we have all feared this. You guys know, since last year, I've been worried about his usage. He gets used a lot. So I'm not surprised. None of us should be. We were all kind of hoping it would never happen. But they do use him a lot. And today he kind of broke down. But, man, when you talk about an MVP, for your teeth, it's Murias Dental. For your football team, it's Devon Achane. This is a guy that you've been able to count on year in and year out. And that's something that we cannot say about most people on this offense. Okay? Aaron Brewer, I don't know. There's only a couple of people that have been like consistent, and Achane has been consistent. By the way, Murias Dental is as consistent as it gets. Invisaligns, dental implants, preventive surgery, preventive care, cosmetic surgery. Get your smile back. Call our friends in Dade, 305-821-0231. In Broward, 954-692-6825. Family owned and operated, and you will feel like family. My mother-in-law goes there. My daughter goes there. My wife goes there. I go there. Everybody goes there. Get your smile back. Follow them on Instagram at murias.dental.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by Murias Dental.
From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams. To schedule an appointment in Dade, call 305-821-0231. In Broward, 954-692-6825. Follow them on Instagram at murias.dental, providing MVP smiles every day of the year.
Ride. Thank you all out there as always.
For
keeping it locked. Yes.
David Ferronis just tweeted out, Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said Devon Achane was hurting but available to return in an emergency.
Okay. All right. We'll see what happens. It's a Monday night, so you get an extra day. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still a little concerned about that. I am a little concerned about that. So hopefully everything will be all right. Maybe he doesn't play this week. Maybe you give him a couple of weeks off to rest because he is overused. So that means that, if he's not going to play, Jay Wright and Ollie have got to step up in a big time way, dude. So let's see if that happens. Yes, sir.
Barry added to it saying there was no rib break per Mike McDaniel.
Good. So I can give you this now from experience. The only thing now we're worried about is cartilage damage because there's cartilage in between the ribs. And then if there's some cartilage damage, then that causes problems with breathing and things like that. And there's a level of soreness that comes with it. So that's the next thing that they won't know until they go in there and they kind of run an MRI, which I'm sure they're going to do, run some x-rays and MRIs to see what's in the ribs inside in the cartilage area, because that's where you can also have some problems as a running back, a quarterback, whatever. It gets in the way of even whatever you got to do, even go to in the bathroom or whatever. I mean, it can be debilitating. So hopefully, if he said he could return on an emergency purpose, then that tells me they don't think there's any cartilage damage, and they certainly see no rib fractures or anything like that. So that's cool, but that's the only thing that I would worry about, because I've done this for long enough that's if there's not anything done to the bone, then the only other thing that you worry about is cartilage in between the bones. And that's it. That's about it. And we won't know for a couple of days if they want to tell us, who knows? Because they're not necessarily the most stand up when it comes to the injuries. You know what I'm saying? Manny J. Snow, thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, I don't care if I spend $100 on the super chats. McDaniel, run the damn ball. Okay. The only thing I would tell you is spend them on the Venmo instead, or the Cash Apps. It's, that way, it's more comes to the show, man. Manny J. Snow again. You stud. Exactly, Big O. Them screen passes calls made me lose another bit of my liver. Yeah, it was bad, dude. It was bad. Let's see. Nikki says it absolutely kills Big O for the Dolphins to win because it kills his narrative about Mike McDaniel. Yes, he called a few pass plays to keep the defense honest. No, he called stupid plays, Nikki. When you call a screen inside your 5, you're not keeping anybody honest. You're putting your team at risk, and you're risking a turnover that could have been a touchdown. And by the way, they got lucky on that call. That ball went backwards slightly, but it was close enough that they whatever, they didn't want to, but that was a backward pass. Miami got lucky on that play. So, you got to pay attention and, don't be such a homer sometimes. Maybe your feelings are hurt. I think we have more than enough, proof over 4 years, Nikki, that Mike McDaniel's a freaking clown. So, give me a break already with that shit. Let's see. Big O, you're very cautious, allowing yourself to develop any sense of hope. I understand. There is no hope. What hope? I'm sorry? What hope is there? There is no hope, dude. There is no hope. Okay? If you want me to tell you in Apollo Creed fashion, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. So I don't have any hope. That shit's dude, I told you at the off season this was going to be a bad year, and it was 7-10. What are we headed for? Exactly what I was saying. There is no hope here, dude. Let's get that shit straight. All right? I understand some of you blind-ass fans, you need people to kind of pump you, hope you. The writers will do that. They got to keep you reading because their editors won't allow you to tell you the truth. I tell you the truth here. I don't lie to you guys. Okay? I'm not doing that. Okay? Dolphin-centric programs, they got to do it to kind of keep everything. I don't do that, dude. I tell you what it is. Okay? And Mike McDaniel's a terrible coach. Stephen Ross is a terrible owner. You're not going anywhere, dude. But I love the team, and I'm still going to watch, but I'm not going to fill you up with false hope. So there's no reason. There's nothing there that indicates that this team is playoff worthy or could even do anything in the playoffs. So, I love it, but, I stay in reality, man. I stay in reality. So, it is what it is. Music question. Many producers say that AI will ruin the music industry. How is it different than those criticizing sampling in the 80s where music was not all made by the artist? Well, yeah, I understand that, but you still had to make some of the music up around it. You still had to create some kind of rap, some kind of rhythm under it, around it. So, yeah, you stole some stuff from other people to make that song. And I get that, but there was still a creative element to it. Okay. When Run DMC stole from Aerosmith, they still added their flavor to it. Okay. I get it. They still stole Aerosmith's song in the basis of it, but then because rap was on the rise, they kind of used it as an influence. But then Run DMC went on to make many songs that aren't stolen from anybody. So that's where you can differentiate yourself, and you could be Van Halen and sing Pretty Woman, right? Which is not your song, and it's still a song that people like hearing you play, but then you go and do, Running with the Devil, and you start doing other things. So This Is Love and all that, and you start making your own music and Jump and all that. So artists have done this forever, where they've taken a song from somebody else. The Eagles got Desperado from Linda Ronstadt, but then the Eagles went on to make a lot more of their own music. You know what I mean? So the element of stealing or redoing a song or sampling or all that, there still has to be a creative element to it from those artists. Now, if you're doing it on AI, it doesn't come from the soul. It doesn't come from the heart. It doesn't come from the mind. It comes from an algorithm that is stolen from all the algorithms in the world. So then it's just kind of lame. It's not really, and then you don't get to see them live. You don't get to see them. You know what it is to see Prince live? And Prince can do a cover of a tune and steal that, but then do an entire catalog of all kinds of other music. You know what I mean? So the artist still has a chance to prove that they're an artist, even when they sample. You get what I'm saying? So it's cool. It's fine with that. As long as you're able to prove that you can do it also on your own. You can sample, or you can redo a song or something like that. So I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with AI, because then I'm never going to be able to connect with the artist. And I'm a live show guy. I love going to live shows. I love appreciating true musicians. So if I can't appreciate the true musicianship, I have no interest in that. Manny J. Snow again says, I will do a different money option from now on, Big O. The fans have listened to your voice so they can get the real honest takes. I mean, I'm not BSing you guys. I love the team, but they're not going anywhere, man. You know what I mean? We just got to, like I told you for months ago, it's about individuals. It's about watching the young guys get better. So whoever comes in next year as coach and GM and all that kind of crap, that they've got a Grant that's on the rise, and a Phillips, and that Chop is getting better, and that, whatever it is, all the young guys. That's what I want. Like, I was against, let's trade everybody. Like the same people that are trying to hold out, or the same people trying to create some kind of false hope about playoffs. Forget that, dude. I'm just rooting for players to get better. And that's what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing young players that are getting better. So the roster, so you have some guys to work with for next year. So whoever is the coach, if you do get rid of Tua, whoever the next quarterback is, he has a Waddle that he can throw to. He has an HN coming out of the backfield. This is important to me. So that at least as a fan, I'm past this season. I'm looking forward to the future seasons, and I'm hoping that a lot of these young guys can translate and help next year. That's the way I look. I've been telling you this for a while. This is absolutely nothing new. I've told you from the off season, this is how I was looking at this season. I was never looking at this season as a winning season, a playoff season, or anything like that. Okay? I don't have any hope for that. It is what it is. What I am shocked is how bad Tua's gone. That's where I'm shocked that he has completely regressed. And that's a real shame. That's a real shame. So we'll see if he can resurrect his career somewhere else, or what happens. Who knows? So it is what it is. Let's see. What else do we have? The Eagles got Take It Easy from Jackson Brown as well. Right, exactly. But then they go on and make their own music. I'm good with that, dude. I'm good with that, you know? Cynical Charlatan says Big O has to blame McDaniel because he's in too deep. He made it clear that he felt that anyone who didn't think that Tua was elite, that Chris Greer, what they did was they ruined Tua. Chris Greer and company ruined Tua. They didn't build the proper line. Kid took a beating, took the concussions. Now he doesn't trust shit. Now he's not the same, and they ruined the kid. You know, no different than Shula not doing right by Marino. There's no different. It's just kind of the way it goes. It's normal for us to not compliment our players. I mean, that's just kind of our history. We're so bad that the Titans could compliment Tannehill even better, and Tannehill sucks. But they knew what Tannehill was, so they had the defense, the line, the running game for it, and they just asked Tannehill to, complete a couple passes. Not us. We think he's like a real quarterback, and he can go out there and carry the team, and that's why you kept, flopping. So this is our history. This is nothing new. We don't maximize our talent here, no matter who it is. So players usually can go on to other places and have more success. That's been our history, unfortunately. So, some of you can handle it. The charlatans, unfortunately, can't. We got to get out of that rut of being the Jets and the Browns. That's what we've become, unfortunately. I was talking about in the pregame show that today on November 6th in 1970 was the first year they had a winning season. First time in franchise history, 1970. They went 34 years from that stretch and only had 2 losing seasons. Look where we were. Look where we are now. It's a sad state. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me. Like I told you guys, I'm going to need a lot to have some hope. I'm going to need to really see it from them. By the way, Sloman's has been taking care of America for 100 years, protecting America. And right now we're in 49 of 50 states. ShieldLink is very important. And that would be a key decision you can make to protect your home and your family. Let's get to our Sloman's key decision of the game.
What was the deciding moment? Who made the right move? Where did the game change? It's the Sloman's key decision of the game. Make the smart decision to protect your home and family by calling Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME, serving Americans for nearly 100 years. Here's our Sloman's key decision of the game.
All right, Mike McDaniel. We got to give Mike McDaniel some credit, okay? He started off with the run, and that was great, and they took the big lead. Then he got cued and got burned and all that. But then, after losing Achane, Waddle went waddling off the field for a moment. He turned back to the running game and put together a hell of a drive where it's what you're supposed to do with this offense. Dominate with the run, sprinkle the pass. Your quarterback is not the guy from 2 years ago. Excuse me. So since it's not the guy from 2 years ago, you cannot be doing drives like he did in the middle where it was mostly pass and not run. So the key decision, which while we saw them take a 21-point lead at first, and then we kind of started getting a little nervous about it, that drive in the second half to get the touchdown and to put that pretty much put the game away right there. But you did it with the running game. And that, to me, is a key decision because I know this is when the team, this version of the Miami Dolphins is best when it dominates with the run game, when it's given an opportunity to run the ball. They have the blockers. They figure it out. They're not great at pass blocking. They're not going to give their quarterback a lot of time, but they are pretty damn good at running the ball lately. So play to your players' strengths. For a lull there in the middle of the game, he didn't play to the player's strength, and then he ended the way he started, playing to their strength, and he did it with Jay Wright, which it's a lot easier to do with Achane because it's Achane. He's a superstar. But for Jay Wright, and I'm happy for Jay Wright too, today 24 rushes, 107 yards. He ran tough, dude. You needed him, and you could tell that he was getting more and more confident and full of himself and maybe feeling himself. Because remember, he has not been used. He has not really been counted on enough. He's not been given enough of an opportunity. And so today was by necessity, and he came through. And even Ollie also. And if Achane can't play next week, or they want to hold him out for precautionary reasons or whatever, well, it's going to be Jay Wright's show again. And I would imagine that Ollie Gordon is also going to be needed, especially in short yardage situations. So I got to give Mike McDaniel a little love here that, with the stupidity in the middle, he got back to his senses and did what you should do. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME, baby. And with one intuitive app, you can control the lights, the climate in your house. You're headed home. It's been a hot day. Turn on the air. So when you're home in a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, the house is cooled down. Or if you have dogs like we do, you want to make sure that it's kind of a comfortable temperature inside the home. You can make sure that everything is locked, the music, blinds, TV. You can run it all, man. You're going to be a little late. You want to turn on the house lights outside. You want to turn on the AC. You want to turn on the TV so it kind of looks like there's some action in the house. You can do that too. Somebody's delivering. They're dropping off some food. They get there before you do. You can talk to them and tell them, hey, leave the food there. I'll be there in a minute. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Boom. You got your dinner there. It's a beautiful – you're watching TV. You're watching the Dolphins. You don't want somebody bothering you, and then there's some idiot ringing the doorbell, and you don't know who's ringing the doorbell, but it's, somebody to sell something. You grab your app, you look, oh, I'm not answering for this fool. So they'll walk away, and that's it. Or send the big dogs like I do to the front door, and they're pushing on the door, and they really freak out and they leave. By the way, that's some funny video. Anyway, call them about ShieldLink. 1-800-ALARM-ME and tell them that Big O sent you in 49 of 50 states. You will love it. Sean Stanley, myself, we've got Sloman's in our homes too. All right. That is our Sloman's key decision of the game.
Our key decision of the game is brought to you by Sloman's Home Shield. When you want to protect your home, family, or business, call Sloman's at 1-800-ALARM-ME.
All right. Thank you all out there. All right. Yes. My wife sent me a picture of some apple strudel that she's going to bring me. I love apple strudel. Just so you'll know. That's how you get to me right there. That's how I could get hope. If I get apple strudel. Hope in life. Apple strudel gives me hope in life. That's what happens. By the way, let me give you some scores in the NFL just in case. For those of you out there, the Titans, by the way, they win 31-29 over the Browns. Cam Ward was 14 of 28, 117 yards, only 4.2 yards per reception, 2 touchdowns and an interception in the process. But hey, man, who cares? They got the win. Good for them. Yes, sir.
No, I wanted to say Shador threw a touchdown, and they took him out for the 2-point conversion and tried a trick play with the receiver throwing an interception, which cost them the game.
Oh, really? That's why it's 31-29. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take out the quarterback that's thrown 3 touchdowns, an interception, 23 of 42 for 364 yards. It's just, this is why you're the Browns, bro. This is why you're the Browns. And This is what I was telling you about our team. We got to stop being the Jets and the Browns. We talked about the Steelers beating the JV Ravens 27-22 with that gimmick offense. The Seahawks, they pound the Falcons 37-9. It's crazy, dude. The Seahawks are 10-3. Sam Darnold threw 3 touchdowns, interception, and 249 yards. Smith and Jigba, right? I think that's how it's pronounced. He had 2 touchdowns. That kid is the real deal. The Saints beat the Bucks 24-20, dude. Baker Mayfield was actually kind of pedestrian, 14 of 30, only 122 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And the Show kid, or Shug, right? I think it is. He only had an interception in the game and 144 yards. So it wasn't because the quarterback did anything. The Vikings routed the Commanders 31-0. The Jags beat the Colts 36-19. And I think Daniels also left with another leg injury. I think it's an Achilles injury, if I'm correct, in the other leg. The Bills beat the Bengals by 5, 39-34. They come back, dude. The Buffalo Bills scored 21 points in the fourth quarter, 28 in the half, where the Bengals only scored 13 and a half. So they end up winning. Crazy shit, dude. Crazy, crazy shit. And then we've got Panthers and Islanders right now scoreless in the first. It's the Rams and the Cardinals tied at 10 midway through the second. Also, 9 minutes left in the second. The Packers are leading the Bears 7-0, and the Broncos leading the Raiders 14-7. Boy, that Tom Brady, he's a real genius, isn't he? It's a real genius, man. Got to tell you. I'm impressed with that Tom Brady. Boy, that is some impressive stuff, that Tom Brady guy. Let's see who else. Hateful Steve again. Thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. He says, I know you saw McDaniel failing, but what I also saw was Achane leave and Tua not being able to pick up any of the slack. Well, why would you expect that already? He's not the guy. Why are you expecting that? No, that's not going to happen. You have to keep running like they did with Jay Wright, Steve. You got it all wrong. Dude, you got to get past your Tua hate already. The dude's toast. Look at him. Watch him. He's not going to carry you. He's not going to bail you out. It's not who he is. Plus, Steve, the offensive line will not allow you to pass. So you don't have time for plays to develop. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They're only good at run blocking, Steve. They're not good at pass blocking. So if they suck at pass blocking, did you see the touchdown that Waddle caught? Was it Waddle that caught that touchdown at the beginning of the game? Was it Waddle that Tua was getting tackled, right? That's a short play. And Tua's got a guy on his back throwing that touchdown. By the way, he threw it on a dime. So you don't have the offensive line to block. You don't have your quarterback playing at his best anyway. So yes, dude, you've got to be a run-based offense and just sprinkle in the pass. That's what you have to do. You have to get them moving for the run game, and then you can offset with the pass. Steve, if you haven't figured that out, I can't help you, bro. Thank you for the donation, but I'm telling you, dude, you got to stop with this Tua shit. You got to let it go. Let it go. They signed him. Yes, it was a mistake. He can't play now, so don't expect him to bail out. You're asking for unrealistic shit. None of it is realistic at all. You got to move on, bro. You got to move on. Get past it. Okay? They got to run the ball. That's it. They got a quarterback that can at least complete some passes, sometimes off play action. And if he has no run, forget about it. I'm not going to bail you out. So Jay Wright better run the ball. Ollie better run the ball. And that offensive line better get the job done. And the defense, the one that everybody said Weaver sucks. Now nobody ever says anything bad about Weaver. You got to count on that too. Which, by the way, wasn't it the offense at the beginning and the defense ended the game? That's the way it went. It wasn't Tua. Tua cannot be a part of your wins. What you got to do is not throw screens inside your 5 so he can be a part of your loss. That's stupid. But that's Mike McDaniel. Or you do a drive where 4 out of the 5 plays are passes and you fail. Well, that's Mike McDaniel. So it is what it is. You got to let it go, bro. Got to let it go. Got to move on. Peter German, thank you for the love on Venmo. Why does McDaniel continue to sabotage offense when it's running smoothly? It seems to me he has no feel for the timing or the flow of a game. Also, why is Ross so enamored with incompetence? Because he's incompetent himself. That's the thing. You know? Ray is in the house. Good afternoon, my brother. A victory cigar for all of us for supporting our team and keep watching our coach having some brain fart moments. LOL. Exactly. We're the ass kickers. We actually stay here watching and rooting. Well, some of us. Some of you out there are rooting for them to lose because you want draft position, which, again, doesn't mean shit, you know? But that's cool. That's cool. Thank you, Ray. Thank you all out there. Appreciate your generosity. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo, and you can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. And as you can see, you can send in your questions, comments, insults, all kinds of good stuff. It's all good. We appreciate it either way. Thank you, thank you, thank you out there. What else do we have? What do we have here? David Redford, thank you for the love on Cash App, sir. Appreciate you. He says, go Canes. Do you think that think they'd get in? No. I did not. This system is made for the blue bloods, for the Alabamas and the Michigans and the Ohio States of the world and the USCs and the Texas. And if Nebraska ever got back, they'll get it over us. It's made for people like that and Notre Dame. So I wasn't going to lose sleep because Mario's an idiot for losing to Louisville and SMU, by the way, but at least the Louisville one. So I know how their bias works, and I thought, oh, shit, it's down to Alabama, Notre Dame, Miami. Oh, for sure, Miami's out. So I thought for sure Miami would be out, and I wasn't going to be surprised, and I wasn't going to flip out or anything like that because I get it. You're the University of Miami, bro. I saw Cleveland Gary score the touchdown, and you told me no, and you're a liar. I saw what happened against Ohio State, and you're some cheating sons of bitches, and I've seen what's happened in the polls in the past. So I've lived it all. I've watched it. So I know how they are. So I didn't think that they would get in because that's just kind of how it's always been. And if you're the you play by a different set of rules than they do. You cannot leave any doubt because then you give them that chance to do what they've done for years and years and years, bro. Okay? That's just the way it's always been. So I expect the U to get screwed. But I blame Mario in this case because, dude, losing to Louisville is disgraceful. Disgraceful. And by the way, like I've said now, and I've repeated over and over, he better not lose a game next year. Listen to me. He better not lose a game next year. Not one. No one on the schedule should beat the U next year. None. If they lose one game, it's because he is a mediocre coach. So now that he's in, justify it, bro. Let's see if you could go to Texas A&M and win. Show me that you can win, because if you lose that game, guess what they're all going to say? Guess what we'll get? You see, we shouldn't have let them in. We should have let Notre Dame in anyway. We would have benefited more from the audience and all that kind of crap. And they were a better team, they'll say. The snobs at Notre Dame now don't want to go to a bowl game. You know, they have their own network. They have their money. They don't need to do that. They don't need a bowl game. So I get it. That's what they're doing. But whatever. It is what it is. I'm glad they got in. Now, please, Mario, don't embarrass us. And, finally turn the corner, dude, as a coach. Win a big game. Be a big boy and win a big game in a big moment. Do that, Mario Cristobal. That's what I want to see from Mario Cristobal now. Win a big game in a big moment. Your league, your ACC conference is a joke. So that's the way I look at it with Mario. Win, dude. Win. Let me see. Damien says, Big O, I hope they make changes with the coach. Sick of mediocrity. We have seen this show before. Winning streak doesn't change. Need a revamp. Of course, it's a winning streak against crap teams. Mr. Pipeline says, Big O, I'm from Hawaii, and even I'm pissed at Tua. Don't be completely pissed at Tua. Be pissed at the whole thing. Okay? Look, the people that hate Tua, they're not ever going to give him a break or whatever. That's fine. The dude was balling a couple years ago. He's got an offense that he cannot trust. It's an offensive line that it has never been able to pass block for 4 years. He came into a situation where the coach hated him. Now he's got an incompetent coach that is a dumbass. Okay? And so you've got all of this, then the injuries, the concussions, the lack of confidence. And so the front office, the coaches, everybody failed around him, and now he's also failing. So it's kind of a whole kit and caboodle thing, man. You really can't be mad at the person only. You can be frustrated with his play right now, but I'm more mad at everyone for not handling the situation the right way, and that's why you're in this situation. I mean, all you have to watch is the last couple of weeks. We have a stupid coach that doesn't understand that this is how you were supposed to play for the last 4 years, and you refuse to. And even in this game, in the moments that he goes back to his bad habits, the stuff goes awry, and he doesn't get it. And now that your quarterback is not the guy he used to be, you need to really be this kind of a team more than ever. And he still doesn't get it at times. It's baffling. So there's a lot of things to be frustrated about. And there's a lot of people to be frustrated with. Now we go with the man that has to cover all the frustration. And that is the one and only David Furones and our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
Howdy.
Hey.
So what'd you see from Achane? I know they said there's no fracture. They said he could come back in an emergency situation. We got all that stuff. But did you see him in the locker room? What can you tell us? Did you witness anything?
Yeah, I mean, nothing unusual, of course, and then we did see him, of course, on the sideline. He was out there, just had the big coat around him, just staying warm. And so, yeah, Mike McDaniel did say he would have been available to go back in. I was at the podium, so I didn't see him myself. I'm probably Perk went into the locker room and we split up there, and then he might have set eyes on him. But yeah, I mean, I don't think at least the early indications are nothing that would keep him out for any time. Sometimes these things, maybe they take another day to flare up. So you never know if something like that could happen. But I just thought it was really encouraging that the run game was still just as effective with Jalen Wright going in there. Him picking up his first 100-yard game after Achane almost had 100 on his own on just 7 carries in the first half. And that the defense and run game was just a great formula for the Dolphins. Once again, even as Tua's kind of been a little bit uneven still.
So can you explain that part? Like, okay, so your quarterback's kind of uneven, plus you suck at pass blocking. The touchdown is not a play that takes a long time to develop, and he had a guy draped all over him, and he completed that pass. So you don't have time to pass. Your quarterback is not passing with a lot of confidence. So in the middle of that game, why would you abandon what made you, dominate 21-0? Could you explain that to me?
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, at the end of the day, they still only ended up throwing 21 times. So, some ebbs and flows in a game can
okay, hold on a second. That happened because at the beginning you didn't throw a lot and you ran.
Yeah.
In the middle, you started getting cute and you got screwed. And then at the end, you realize, okay, look, we have to stick to the running game with Jay Wright here. And, then you had to pass less again. So let's really call it what it is. Of course, you pass less because you figured out who you are sandwiched in this game. But in the middle, something went on. And it's just, these are the things that I don't understand about this man.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I'll have to look at the film to see. I'm sure it had a lot to do with probably the looks, the Jets then having to bring extra guys in there, committing more to defending the run. And we do know Mike McDaniel, he goes a lot off of taking what the defense gives him. So then when it said, look, that's tough to run against, he tends to then try to go and throw on those looks. So, maybe a little bit of that, but then, Dolphins getting back to their identity. So I still thought, hey, Jalen Wright.
Brother, when you have Waller involved in one half and you don't in another,
yeah,
or another game when Waller isn't part of your offense at all the entire game, he's just a decoy. And all of a sudden, at the end of the game, he pops out for a touchdown that he's wide freaking open, 6 yards in front of the defender. I don't believe any of what you just said about Mike McDaniel. I believe when he doesn't do things at times, it's just – I'll give you an example. What happened on that third down where you call a great play, you get Dulcich open on the flats, catches the pass, he takes it almost for a first down pretty much, and then you get the penalty on Waddle. And then all of a sudden, okay, so is Felix's bag of tricks out of tricks? Because on the next down, it was like a dive into the middle of it's third and 11 or whatever the hell it was, and that's what you call? Like, the other play was really creative. You moved people around, you freed up Dulcich, and there you go. And on this one, you just kind of, it's like he runs out of ideas quickly. It was really weird because tell me how you see that one play with Dulcich, and then the next one, you're like, what the F, dude? What was that? That's what you called on third and long?
No, I mean, and I mean, there's adjustments that happen in games. Like early on, when the Dolphins had that first quarter, it was just whatever they were running. It was like Mike was in his bag, just creating a ton of space for wherever they were going with the ball. Whether it was, all right, we're running with HN this way, we're running with the Waddle coming through on the sweep. That it was just like whatever the Jets were prepared for, the Dolphins were countering that, and I felt like he was just like on it. And then, of course, I mean, they've got coaches too. Aaron Glenn was on the other side then, and I'm sure, and with some familiarity with some things that probably he knows Mike is trying to do, and then it's like that mind game, that chess game. So then things got a little bit tougher for the Dolphins, and then you also saw, hey, Tua started 8 of 8 throwing, and then he finished the 13 of 21. So you do the math on it's 5 of 13 from that point. So. Obviously the offense hits a lull, but then, then when they finally did get back to it and it's Jalen Wright's show, then that was just a strong focal point. It was encouraging to see that with HN going out, the run game could still churn out yards, which was my ultimate takeaway. Was like, hey, Jalen Wright comes in, and then that run game is still flourishing, even if there was a little bit of a back and forth, getting away from it. Things that happen throughout the course of a game.
In the last 4 years, when you've done it, whether it's Mostert or anybody that you've done, when you've like dedicated yourself to the run, there are moments that you will have success with this team, but it's when you go away from it is the frustrating. Like, to me, the way I looked at this game is the offense put up the points in the first half, and then the defense, dude, won this game in the second. The rest of it, they controlled it. Like, it was never in doubt because they were never going to put up those points on the defense anyway. You know what I mean? So to me, that's how I looked at this game. Like, the offense started hot, but then they ran out of gas. But the defense kind of said, it's all good. We can take it from here. And they pretty much shut them down. I'm really impressed with Weaver and what he's done. He's been truly consistent with the group that he shouldn't be consistent with. You know what I'm saying? Because the last 6 weeks, 7 weeks, they're playing some pretty good football overall on defense.
Oh, yeah. No, you nailed it. And that's what I wrote, whether it was our instant analysis or, in our game story, defense and run game. And it was my first question with Mike McDaniel. So that hot start. So within the first 2 drives, which was 6 minutes and 12 seconds of game time, the Dolphins already had the points necessary to win the game because the Jets, like you said, were just never going to amass anything, especially Tyrod Taylor goes out early. Now the whole thing changes. It's not like this veteran quarterback who has beaten you in the past when he was with Buffalo and whatnot. Now it's Brady Cook, this youngster who's thrown into the fire against a defense that's really hot. And at the end of the day, the Dolphins keep the Jets offense. So the Dolphins defense kept the Jets offense out of the end zone. It was just that punt return that was a touchdown. Got it within a 2-score game at one point early in the fourth quarter, but you never really felt like, okay, the Jets offense is just going to put something together that really threatens Miami. And then
the only thing I was worried about was once we saw them go up 21-0, and then they scored the 7 points or the 10 points, and it was 21. Was it 21-10 at one point, or
21-7, and then 24-7, and then 24-10?
Right. The only thing I was worried about is some wacky shit that happens in this stupid series. And it almost happened. Some tip in the air and some interception.
Oh yeah.
Those
plays were scary. Yeah.
Right. Like the special team score in this game.
Yeah.
Those are the stupid things that when they were within, 2 scores, you're like, okay, bro, pull away from these idiots because, this is the Jets Dolphins and wacky crap goes on. And there were moments that wacky crap could have gone on. I mean, I got to be honest, the Dolphins got lucky on that call, on that. Tua threw it backwards. It was slight, but it was backwards.
I'm not so sure. I feel like it might have been right on, which I think if it's right on, it is supposed to be a lateral, right?
Okay, go look at it again. To me, it looked like it slightly was backwards, but whatever, dude, you got a break. But that's a stupid play. You put it at risk. That's where they get an easy 7 and things start to change. I wasn't worried about the offense. I was worried about the wacky plays that either you make by mistake and give them life and those kind of things. That's what I was worried about because that's what happens in this stupid series.
Yeah. Especially down by the goal line, those situations, down by your own goal line, Tua can't be making those. And so, yeah, it was kind of like he mentioned it was his.
Why would you call that play? Why would you call that play? Come on, forget about Tua. Why? You see how Tua's playing. Why would you call that play in that moment?
That puts you at significant risk. So I asked Mike about it after the game, and he said, here's another thing. Jalen Wright doesn't have the same chemistry with Tua on that. He mentioned that Devon Achane has the timing down with Tua on that play. So now Jalen Wright isn't turning fast enough. Tua's he might have been questioning it as he throws. He said he went through a progression and it led him there. But that's another aspect to it is that you have your backup running back in. So then if they don't have the timing down on that play, that's a very dangerous scenario in which to run it, where it could easily just be exactly what you saw, a backwards pass that gets returned or a pick six that's just a couple steps away. Both of them nearly occurred a couple times running to the flat, backed up.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, dude. Why would you even make that call? That makes no sense to me. These are the things that kind of frustrate. Were there any other injuries? I think they outside of the unfortunately Achan, but I mean like any other injuries because I don't know if I saw any other ones that.
Terrell Dodson popped up with I think it was a hamstring. I got to check again, but he went back in and he was there after the game and talking about the defense, so he was all good.
So and then they blew out his hamstring.
Not blew out. No.
Cradling the football is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, could it have been on that one? The injury I think came much later because that was an early interception. But
I don't know. I'm going to go with the thigh master football injury there for Tyrell Dodson. It just sounds a lot better that he injured it trying to squeeze the football too far.
Yeah, right. Just
you know what I mean? It's kind of that was a fun interception. Dude.
Yeah, and then a couple special teamers. Elijah Campbell got hurt in this game and did not return, and Caleb Johnson, a linebacker who plays a lot of special teams, who was added on from the practice squad recently. He got hurt with the shoulder as well. Elijah Campbell already had an ankle coming in, and then a knee issue I think flared up today.
One of the things that was cool that they highlighted on the game, and I don't know if you could hear the broadcast or what, but where you're at, I'm sure you're watching the highlights or whatever. But they did a nice job of highlighting the offensive linemen in the run game. How guys like Savanaya have improved. So it's really cool to watch the progress of the run blocking of this offense.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see grades come out and then rewatch a lot of the intricacies. But we do know Cole Strange has had some positive an upswing in his play of late, grading out highly last week, and then Savai Naya, after really struggling early on, just showing improvement. That's all you can ask of him. That's kind of how Butch Berry, the offensive line coach, works with these guys. Like, he's not down on a rookie just because he had a rough stretch the first 4 games or whatever. I know for him it probably turned into 6, 7, 8 games, but just that it's always just from wherever you are is just work to the next next level, and we've seen those strides, especially at the guard position, which has been a question with a rookie starting at one spot, and you lose your patented free agent signing 3 plays into the season, and then Cole Strange signed that Tuesday after week 1, and now he's got several weeks, now months under his belt in this system. So now you're seeing the fruits of that labor come to fruition around now with Austin Jackson back at right tackle. And you knew you would be strong at center with Abram Brewer. And then Patrick Paul, once you saw him in training camp, you knew he would be solid, even though he's a first-year starter this year as a second-year player. So yeah, you're really seeing how the run blocking is working fantastically, especially when the things Julian Hill has done, and especially last week with that touchdown run, Daniel Brunskill and the jumbo packages, like all of it is really clicking. And then today just leading to what we saw with 200 plus yards rushing.
The 3 free agents have been huge, bro, because they found Julian Hill off the street and then Dolchich off the street, 2 of their tight ends.
Undrafted. Yeah.
And then Darren Waller, was kind of on the scrap heap. And they found that guy. So it's kind of like they've done some things to kind of patchwork some of this stuff, and it's actually worked out. But I'm just impressed that their offensive line on the run blocking side, obviously pass blocking, they leave a lot to be desired. Where do you see the problems in pass blocking?
Boy, yeah. I mean, so Austin Jackson needed a game to get back under him. And that's to his blindside protector. So this was his second game back. I know a couple of the pressures that led to sacks in the Saints game it definitely started there. Yeah, I mean, I think that certainly from the guards, then that's still a struggling point. So there's going to be interior pressure, and that's the worst kind, because then that's a more immediate centralized route to the quarterback that's quicker. So that means less time. So Tua's been used to, he's had to do this his whole career. So and there's been coverage sacks too, like in the Saints game. Some of those, it was just plays taking long to develop. Not maybe the first read wasn't there, second read, and then Tua's got to hold on, or he didn't see something, went the wrong way. Maybe the progression led him to first look at someone who wasn't open. There's a lot of things that go into those, but so there's a lot. But as I feel like with this run blocking, then that's kind of just the identity that you've established now. You want to go to that as much as possible, but it's really going to be something where this line is tested when a team can finally stop the run against the Dolphins. And then if this team, as currently constructed, is playing from behind, then that'll be a challenge. If you have to go get it with the pass game when you haven't had a Tyreek Hill for a long time, Darren Waller is rarely targeted, not utilized, and then that pass protection is lacking at times.
Darren Waller not really fully healthy.
Maybe there's some remnants of it. I'm not too sure, but
him. I mean, they don't use him. Why would you have him out there? And he's an absolute difference maker. I could use fades with him. I could use his height. I don't understand what's going on, to be quite honest. So that tells me that it was a pec, right? Was it a pec? Was he one had a
total injury? Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how healthy that pec is that they're not giving him. Didn't McDaniel say he was proud like 2 weeks ago of not overusing him for coming back from a pec injury, or I'm paraphrasing or something like that?
Would it be I think it was the hip back then? You mean originally, like start of the season, or?
Oh, I mean, like
now.
A week ago or 2 weeks ago, I think he said, "Oh no, they have him back," and somebody asked him about not being used that much, and he said something along the lines, "Well, I'm
not overcooking him."
Yeah, that's like I told you, I was paraphrasing. I forgot exactly,
right.
But like not overcooking. So I'm wondering, is he going to be thawed for the rest of the year?
Yeah, on the spot there. You came up with that one. Impressive. I mean, I guess it's something that just takes a few weeks to get him back to the old him, or the one that at least that we saw earlier this season.
He's not getting any younger. He is old.
Yeah, right. Old him. He is. The old him is now.
It's just old.
No, but he's still such a threat. His size, his wingspan, 6'6", and you saw it the first game against the Jets that immediately he could just go in and be that matchup nightmare for defenses. So, now it's like it feels like he's more of a decoy. I think you said that earlier, and the looks aren't going his way very much. But also, it's now an offense whose identity is built on the run game. So then there will be just fewer and fewer.
Bubba, hold on a second. There's nothing better than run game and tight ends. The guy in Baltimore has made a living off of that, buddy. A living off of that.
Yeah, but not only that, Waller's a pass catching tight end, and he's not the one you want in there to run block. So
he's not a great passer. They keep it more simple for him, and that's why they have multiple tight ends, and that's why they have the running game and throws, because he's not going to be super accurate on the outside. So that's why. So to me, if you have a quarterback right now that lacks confidence, my run game and my tight ends would be absolutely. I mean, Dolchich, they're using his ass.
Yeah, they are.
They use Dolchich more than they use Waller.
Yeah. Well, let's see. They were both targeted 3 times, but Dulcich had catches on all of them for 41 yards, and Waller just had the 1 catch, but they were both targeted 3.
He was really 4-4. He was really 4-4.
Oh, yes. Yeah, right. The one that was called back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
It just kind of like so how's it working with one guy and not the other? I have a hard time understanding this, you know what I mean? But for a quarterback like Tua right now, dude, I'm throwing to tight ends, running backs as much as possible because I'm worried about I don't have time for receivers. I don't have time unless they're short plays, short crossers and all that, maybe. But I don't have a lot of time to develop. So I got to get the stuff that's closer to the line of scrimmage, and my tight ends and my running backs are, especially my tight ends, are bigger targets for me. For a smaller quarterback, that's even better for me. I don't know. That's just me. That's
No, yeah, and we've seen Tua have success on hitting those quick slants, and even back when it was like the RPO type stuff. So yeah, he can find the receivers those ways, but then it's kind of like you can't really have a double move type of situation with the wide receiver. You won't have time for anything slow developing like that. But I think Dulcich is kind of maybe more like viewed as the balanced tight end that, because you already have Julian Hill and Daniel Brunskill is playing as an extra, as a tight end, as an extra lineman. So those are your run blockers who are there for when your run game is going. And then, Dulcich can maybe provide that in between. Waller is a straight pass catching tight end.
Right,
and especially with a pec injury, I don't think you want him, putting too much on blocking. You need your chest muscles to go and block guys. So, you don't want him out there having to be physical in the run blocking game. When his claim to fame is being the matchup nightmare in the pass game. So that's what you want him doing.
By the way, you got in.
Yeah. Wow. I really had no confidence in the playoff committee finally. But they did.
Notre Dame and Alabama, bro. The system's made for them, not for you, dude. So I thought they were out. Hey, by the way,
finally. Is that why you wore that today? Yeah, I mean, I think it all played
I
into it.
can't believe that guy won an ACC championship game before the Canes, bro.
But you know what? Maybe I don't know how much how much Duke winning the ACC would have impacted the committee's decision, but you got to wonder. Not at all, probably, but you got to wonder if there was an easy solution for the committee to not leave the ACC entirely out. It was.
I thought they would, because Duke winning would diminish everything of that. Which, by the way, the conference is dog shit, anyways. But yet, that's what I thought. It would even hurt even more that Duke won, dude.
I think the opposite, because then there was a solution to leaving the ACC out. Was you could just get the team that's right there, vying for the at-large spot, who beat head-to-head the other team that you're thinking about. Then it became kind of like 2 out of 3 between Alabama as well, losing as bad as they did. But yeah, I mean, also Alabama split then against Georgia because Alabama won the first game.
Alabama beat Georgia, bro. Yeah. Earlier in
the so you I get it. You're not supposed to over penalize them either. So. Especially for playing an extra game, SEC championship game against
Notre Dame and Miami aren't in championship games, right? They are. Well, they put a game on the line on their schedule. That too bad, so sad. That's the way it goes. You know what I mean? But I know how they play. I'm just glad they got in. Now, after all this whining and complaining, Mario better win.
Oh yeah, better go into A&M. Yeah, which
because if you lose, then they're going to say, well, you see, after all the whining, they didn't deserve to be in there. They should have put Notre Dame. That's what's going to end up happening. So win, dude. At least win this round. I'm not telling you to win the national championship because I don't expect them, but win a big game, dude. Like this. This would be really. You haven't won a bowl game, right? Well, this would be even better than any bowl game that you could win.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, what do you got going on in Sentinel?
Yeah, I'll just be running the updates on Devon Achane and just dialing up how the run game was effective even in his absence, with Jalen Wright surfacing, and then just wrapping up the game coverage as now the Dolphins have won 4 straight, and they stay in the hunt. They are more so in the hunt now, Big O, at 6-7. Now 2 games out, but they wouldn't have a tiebreaker on the Colts, so that's the problem if you're even trying to think that route. But let's just enjoy it while we have it.
There's enough breaking going on in Indianapolis right now.
Oof.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and catch his exceptional work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I'll tell Perk to get on.
You got it. Welt and Rayom. We love Jeff Welt and Daniel Rayom. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Look, even if you don't need it right now, God forbid, I hope you never need it. But if something happens, you're dealing with bankruptcy issues, there's a lot of people with credit card issues that could happen to me, can happen to you, can happen to anybody. Call them. They can get you out of that mess. 954-966-4646. Any other issues, homeowner property damage, business owner claims, commercial litigation, Welton Rayom, they have their own adjusters. Never call the insurance companies. Call Welton Rayom first. They will send their adjusters over. And the rest is history. All right? 954-966-4646. The consultation is completely free.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Right. Don't forget, folks, to smash the hell out of the like button. Very, very important that you smash the like button. Get it going. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. Of course, you can send in your questions, comments, insults, all kinds of good stuff. My friend William Quigley does an amazing job when it comes to Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. Nobody is better at landscaping than the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro. And I've got to tell you, 954-472-0622. They do it all. Tree trimming removals, landscape design, synthetic turf. I'm telling you, man, they will blow you away. Plus, it increases the value of your home. Let's get to our Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker of the game.
Who brought the edge? Who changed the game? Who is our Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker? When you want to give your home or business the edge, call Cutter's Edge Pro in South Florida for all your landscape solutions. Here's our Cutter'sEdgePro.com difference maker.
We're going with the defense, dude. Special teams gave up 7. They beat them 31-10. The offense scored the points early, and then they had their brain farts and then figured it out at the end. But really, in the end, those first 21 points, it was over. There was no way the Jets offense, even if Tyrod Taylor got in, I'm going to give Weaver and the boys a lot of credit. They played their asses off. They came up with 6 sacks today. Zach Sealer, who's had a tough season, but he's coming around more and more. Why? Because the people next to him are getting it. The young guys are starting to play, and that frees him up a little bit more, and they don't have to double him all the time and chip him and all the shit that they're doing. If you watch the film, Judon got a sack, Chop got a sack, Chubb got half a sack, 3 interceptions. Rasul Douglas, Dotson with the thigh crusher, and the white wonder, Ethan Bonner. All interceptions. They tore it up today, dude. I'm really proud of Weaver and the defense and everything they've done. I wish he was our head coach. I wish they would have fired McDaniel in week 3 and they would have put Weaver in place. I know all of you out there that were arguing with me, you cowards have disappeared, of course, because you were wrong about Weaver calling him a bad coach. He's an exceptional coach, dude. He maximizes whatever he has, and he hasn't had a great unit ever so far on this team for 2 years. And for him to maximize what he's doing, that's called coaching, dude. So I give Mr. Weaver and that defense our Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker of the game.
The Cutter's Edge Pro difference maker is brought to you by Cutter'sEdgePro.com, servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, malls throughout South Florida. Cutter'sEdgePro.com, providing South Floridians the edge every day of the year.
All right, let's do it. The Perk Man is ready to go. It's our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins postgame report.
Time to go to the locker room, Miami Dolphins fans. Let's find out what's percolating with the one and only Chris Perkins in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report.
Perk, I think you just heard it there. Offense started the game. Defense finished it, bitch. They finished it. And Weaver's boys are doing an awesome job overall, considering the lack of talent, sometimes the lack of experience, sometimes a lack of chemistry. But I see a man making chicken salad out of chicken, you know what.
Yeah, you know what, Big O? They've become a playmaking, big play defense. They have the 3 interceptions today. They're +3 in turnover margin today. They are now -1 in turnover margin. They have gone from -8 a few weeks ago at the start of this 4-game winning streak down to -1 right now, and that's a very good thing to see. And then on the other side of the ball, when you look at the offense, they've taken on a more physical identity. So you've got a physical run-based offense along with a big play defense. I'm still not convinced that this is a good run defense. Now they choked the life out of Breece Hall today. They did a great job last week against New Orleans with 81 yards, but against Washington, they allowed 172. They entered this game 29th in the league in run defense, but it's an improving run defense.
The lead helped. Unlike the last 2 weeks, the large lead kind of left them like, oh yeah, we can't. They had to abandon it a little bit. That's
right.
That's probably what really helped them out.
Right. Right. But you know, the point is that you're right. Weaver is doing a good job with this defense. It's a resourceful defense. I don't know if it's a good defense right now, but it's a resourceful defense that has found a way to win games. And that's what counts here.
Yeah, to me, that's fine. He did that last year. Just find ways to to keep the team in the game, which he did that, or in these kind of moments, they really dominated. Like there was no doubt that the offense for the Jets was ever a threat in this game against the defense. And that was really cool to watch, you know, overall. And it's nice to see, because one thing that you and I have agreed on for a couple years now is that you should have been a run-oriented team, you know, from the get-go. And now, by the way, that you have a quarterback that isn't playing well, isn't playing with confidence, and really an offensive line that really is terrible at pass blocking. They just are terrible at pass blocking. So get back to running. Run, and you sprinkle the offense. I don't know what happened in the middle of the game. He had his regular McDaniel brain farts, you know, but then eventually he figured it out and stayed with Jay Wright, which was, again, by the way, a really nice sign for Jay Wright personally and for the team that they can use another guy and run behind him.
Yeah, and Big O, you know, let's tip our hat to Mike McDaniel for, yes, finally recognizing that you need to stick with the run game. The run game is a good thing. It sets this team up for success. And then let's look at this running back room with Devon Achane, with Jalen Wright, with Ollie Gordon. Remember, Alexander Madison was off to a good start in training camp until he has the season-ending neck injury. So that was a pretty full, crowded, complete running backs room, because Alexander Madison gave you that big body and he was getting some big physical yards. So a nice job of gathering the talent. I will give Chris Greer some credit here. A nice job of gathering some talent. A nice job of Mike McDaniel for recognizing, hey, we don't have Tyreek. We don't, you know, Waller is in and out of the lineup. The pass protection is shaky. Tua's not having a good year. Let me run the ball, and now let me stick with the run. So it's win, 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 win all the way around with this run game and with this offense. And you're right about the pass blocking, Big O. They're not good at pass blocking, but you know what? These dudes love to fire off on the ball and knock somebody's butt off the line of scrimmage. They seem to have a knack for it. And so, again, credit to Mike McDaniel for recognizing that and for sticking with it, because I think, Big O, if Tyreek was out here, he'd be forcing the ball to Tyreek down the field, even though Tua's not playing well, even though pass protection is kind of leaky. I think not having Tyreek has actually opened up Mike McDaniel's play calling. He's kind of in his bag right now with the run game, with the different schemes that you see, the different blocking schemes. Mike has done a very nice job, but I do think that having Tyreek sideline has actually helped him become a more creative and complete offensive coach.
You know, I see Ocala Joe here, and this is one of the things that I would like to see. And we've seen games in the past, not a lot, but they did it a couple times today. He goes, I thought Tua rolling out of the pocket a few times, right or left, gave him a better look at receivers or a tight end, and not getting time in the pocket, which that's what I would do with a bad line when it comes to pass protection. Move the launch point at times. Give him a pocket where he roll, a boot or a waggle where he rolls out a couple yards and then fires away or something like that, where you give him a high low and you give him an option, something like that. I think that's what you've got to do. But again, I liked it at times the way they were running the pass game in this game at the beginning and then after the brain fart with Jay Wright, where it was complementing the run, where you were moving people around, like the Dulcich play.
Right.
You move people around, and then that's how you end up freeing stuff up. You know what I mean? My God, the touchdown to Waddle, that's not a long developing play, and Tua had a guy draped all over him to complete that pass. And, you've got to be careful what you call in the pass game because it's really dangerous when it comes to this line.
Yeah, and I was going to bring up the Dulcich play, and I think you're exactly right on that observation. You get Tua out there moving and give him some different targets. Tua did have a couple. The one that was ruled an incomplete pass that could have been a lateral, and then
I think it went slightly backwards. To be completely honest, I think they got a break on that call because if you look at it, it went slightly backwards. It should have been a fumble and maybe even a touchdown for the Jets. You know what I mean? So whatever.
Yep. And they almost had the pick six at that the other throw that Tua made, but whatever. Those didn't turn out. Again, you credit Mike McDaniel with knowing what he has offensively. And I'll say this also, Big O. One thing that I'm writing for tomorrow is that it's a very business-like locker room now during this winning streak. At the start of the streak, you remember the Buffalo game where they're racing in the laundry baskets, and it's a raucous environment. And Robert Prince, the 60-year-old wide receivers coach, is breakdancing, and they're all cheering and clapping. It was nothing like that today. Today was just kind of, we were supposed to do this. We were supposed to beat these guys. And so you kind of see a progression with this team. Jordan Brooks said it's a belief. We now believe that we're supposed to win. We believe in each other. Rasul Douglas was saying, it's just this defense has spent time together, so now we're just naturally coming together, that it was kind of a group that was thrown together. So I think really one thing that we're seeing now, Big O, is a team that's meeting its expectations. That, I picked this to be a 9-win team. I think you picked them to be a 7-win team. And this, and so that's kind of what we're seeing now as a team that's playing up to that level. I'm not sure I would consider them a playoff caliber team right now, but they are an emerging team, a resurgent team. And it's a team that is finding out that, we can win in different ways. It doesn't have to be all Tyreek, that we've got different elements that we can use. Heck, Devon Achane at rush for 92 yards, he goes out and you still win the game, and the running game does not take a big drop. Now, granted, you're playing the Jets, but you're playing a January game on the road in cold temperature. I don't believe the cold weather narrative, but you knocked down some narratives, right? You won in December, you won on the road, you won in cold weather. So
what I was happy about, Perk? I was afraid they would lose this game because it becomes one of those stupid Jets-Dolphins games, like that stupid pass like that call should not have even been in the playbook inside the 5, that stupid screen. That's what would end up being a touchdown and would change the face of the game. Right. That's what I was afraid of. But what I was proud of for the team today is you didn't play like you played the last 2 weeks against two shitty teams.
Right.
You played like who wanted it less almost.
Yep.
That's kind of the way you played. Like you were just slightly less shitty than the Saints and the Commanders, and that's why you ended up good. Today you played the shitty team, but you treated them like a shitty team, and you beat them down. To me, that was actually refreshing, dude, that I didn't have to sit here on the edge of my seat against a crappy team.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah, it's a sign of progress for this team. It really is. It's a sign of maturity. It's a sign that, they have learned from their previous mistakes and from what they've done in the past. And it's showing out there on the field that they're showing that they've got some depth and that they can adjust in game with an injury like Devon Achane. They can make the adjustment and still come out to win. So it's good to see the in-season maturity, and it's good to see this team living up to the expectations that a lot of us have for them coming out of training camp.
By the way, the thing that, and we'll see it now, unfortunately, if he misses any time, Achane's efficiency.
Yes.
It's just, 7 rushes, 92 yards. Nothing against Jay Wright. He had a great day. 24 for 107. Any running back in the history of mankind will take that. That's a fantastic. You're getting over 4 yards a carry, but it just shows you how it takes 24 rushes for Jay to get to 107, and Achane it takes 7 for 92.
Right.
I just want people to make sure you appreciate this shit because he is great. Because great people make it look stupidly easy. And that's what Achane does. He makes it look so much easier than it really is, dude. Okay?
He does. The 39-yard run, and I'll tell you guys this also. Seeing Devon in the locker room after the game, we weren't able to talk to him. The Dolphins have a rule: if you don't finish the game, you can't talk after the game. But I think Schefter tweeted after the game that he could have returned if he was needed, and he didn't look like he was in any kind of discomfort or anything like that. It doesn't seem like it has risen to the level where he'll need an MRI tomorrow. We'll see if that's the case or not.
Okay, but anyway, you know why? I'll bring this up, Perk. You're a veteran too on this. Okay, so there's no broken bones, no fractures. Awesome. The only other thing, and I told the listeners at the beginning, is cartilage damage.
Right.
That's the only thing that I worry about because that will hurt him in breathing. That will hurt him sitting down. That will hurt him turning, cutting, whatever. If he has no cartilage damage, then we're in. If it's just a little bruising, then he'll wear some kind of a shield or some shit like that, and then you move on. But that I think he'll have the MRI anyway, just to make sure there's no inklings of any kind of deal with the cartilage, because if there is, they'll give him the week off to kind of heal and all that, because they don't want it to get worse, because as you know, it could really be debilitating for running backs.
Right, exactly. And they do get the extra day of rest because the Pittsburgh game is a Monday night game, so that also works in their favor. So, but Achane looked to be in good spirits in the locker room after the game. He was moving around fine. We saw him at his locker. He seemed to be twisting to get his clothes and to get down into his gym bag and all that kind of stuff. So, for whatever that's worth, he looked like he was okay. Yeah, for whatever that's worth. That's not medical.
Yeah, you never know if they rubbed in a little something there.
That's right, exactly.
So you feel a little bit better at the moment, or if he took something, that's just stuff. All right, so we move on to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
and Pittsburgh beat the Ravens today again.
Yep.
So, what do you think about on the road in Pittsburgh Monday night?
Well, again, this is a chance for the Dolphins to knock down some narratives, right? That you can't win the primetime games under Mike McDaniel. You can't win against a playoff caliber team. I guess Pittsburgh is playoff caliber right now, right? They're probably leading that division off the top of my head, but I know
somebody's going to win that division by default.
Right, exactly. And so they will be called playoff caliber, even if they're like 9-8. But it's a cold weather game, and so there are narratives and steps that this team can take. And Big O, as I've been saying about Mike McDaniel, and we both think the same thing about Mike, that it's probably time, but he, to impress me, and that's not, you've got to impress Steve Ross before you impress Chris Perkins. But anyway, what I want to see from this team are things that they haven't done before. Like I said, go win a cold weather game, win a late season road game, win against a playoff caliber team, win a primetime game. these are steps in the right direction. This is progress. I don't want to see this team celebrating mediocrity at the end of the year, Big O. I don't want them to finish 7-10 and be happy and think, well, we started 0-3 and 1-6 and 2-7, so to win 7 games, that's good. No, that's fist pumping mediocrity. That's Sperano fist pumping field goals, right? We don't want to see that. So if they can do some things different, some things we haven't seen along the way, I think that's a big sign of progress from Mike McDaniel and a Mike McDaniel coach team. Of victory over Pittsburgh would check off some of those boxes.
Perk, I know Jeremy Fowler very well. He's been on my show a bunch of times. I've known him for many years now. I know of Dan Graziano, even worked here in the Sentinel many years back. Highly respected both guys. I trust them when they put stuff out there that they got it from a legit source. So it has nothing to do with them. This has more to do with the organization and Stephen Ross. I don't know why you would put out any kind of stories about bringing him back next year or him winning his job or what. I don't know where that's productive. Whereas, you've talked about it yourself. You need to clean the slate, bro. You need to start over already. And why would you send those kind of mixed signals out? Because that's not good for your fan base. That's not good for your season ticket holders. It's not good for your sponsors. Because most of us see, like today is a great example. Mike McDaniel has the Mike McDaniel moments where, bro, you see how things are working, and then all of a sudden you think you can get cute and start being a passing team. And no, that's not who you are. And then eventually you get back. So even to this day, after 4 years, he still doesn't get it. So I don't know why you would put those stories out there. Clearly something like that is coming from the building because those two guys are very trustworthy people. So talk to me. Why does that make any sense coming from the Dolphins?
Steve Ross wants to set the table. He wants people to know what's coming. He doesn't want people to be blindsided. And again, I will tell you that everything that I hear and know from the Dolphins is that Steve Ross likes Mike McDaniel and the continuity that Mike McDaniel has brought to that building. Everybody's pulling on the same rope. You don't have a bunch of infighting and chirping. Steve Ross comes to town. There's not like a Mike Tannenbaum telling them this and a Dennis Hickey telling them this and Ireland telling them this and Don Aponte telling them this. He reported to Chris Greer. Now it's Champ Kelly. And that's always been the kind of the line of communication that the GM had the direct line to the coach. And then on the business side, it's Tom Garfinkel the GM had the direct line to the owner. And then on the business side, the president, Tom Garfinkel, had the direct line to the owner. And, obviously Mike McDaniel talks to Steve Ross, but everything is unified. He doesn't have to say, well, Champ Kelly told me this. Now let me go check with Mike McDaniel. It's one voice. Greer told him something, he could believe it. Champ Kelly tells him something, he can believe it. He likes that unity, and Mike McDaniel gives him that through the unity in the building. So, and there's other factors there, but that's a big part of it. He believes in Mike McDaniel. He thinks Mike McDaniel is and can be a good football coach. And so until proven otherwise, Mike McDaniel is on track to return next year, and Steve Ross wants that message out there. He doesn't want anybody to be shocked. It'll be, I kept you updated the whole time. Don't be surprised that he's here and Chris Greer is gone, but that's the way it's trending, Miguel.
But I don't see continuity. I see crap annuity.
Well,
that's my problem. That
right.
If it's the continuity you want, bro, this is mediocrity.
Right. It's the status quo. You're celebrating mediocrity. Yeah. You know what? We're, after the statement saying that status quo won't be accepted or tolerated, it kind of is trending in that direction. I know there's been improvement, but that's because you were, 1-6 and 2-7. But yeah, if you finish with between 7 and 9 wins and no playoff victory, I just don't see how that's progress from the previous 3 seasons. But hey, that's just me.
What a stupid ass organization.
I mean, but I will give Mike McDaniel credit right now. I don't mean to poo-poo on the Mike McDaniel parade or celebration. He's done a very nice job with this team in this second half of the season. You wish the season could have started off better, but I don't want to take anything from Mike McDaniel. He's doing a very good job with this team right now.
Perk, how many coaches have we gone through over the years that start crappy and try to end strong? That's happened with Flo. That's happened with Adam Gase. That's happened with Philbin. They've all because they're all crappy coaches. So half the season's crappy, and then the other half they figure out a way to get to mediocre.
Yeah,
it's like it's Groundhog Day over and over and over again, and the owner doesn't see it. It really is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk, and of course catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. What are they going to be seeing from you? From the Sun Sentinel, sir?
Well, once again, it's the business-like way that they're going about these wins. You've got yourself a strong run game and a timely playmaking defense, and so that's your identity right now, and they're really leaning into it. They weren't shocked by what happened today. This is who they are. That's kind of what the feeling is in that building. Maybe later on in the week, I might do something on Butch Berry, the offensive line coach who,
Great job.
Yes, he's done a really good job, and players will tell you that their relationships with Butch, that's what they really like. That Butch is a true people person. I know some people from UM might not think that. I know some people from the Denver Broncos might not think that. But here, it just kind of shows you how things are different. He's a hero here with this offensive line. Butch Berry is. So I'll probably delve into kind of the Butch Berry mystique at some point this week, also heading into that Pittsburgh game.
Yeah, that happens, man. Sometimes coaches find a better place for them to survive. And again, this is just like Weaver. I'm not asking Butch Berry to, create miracles. He's getting the best out of them in run blocking. They're not great in pass blocking. I'm not asking Weaver to have a shutdown defense because he doesn't have shutdown talent in order to do that. But he is, with what he's got, he's maximizing it. And when I look at Butch Berry with what he's got, he's maximizing it. And that's all I can ask for, dude. Exactly. As a fan, that's all I can. Can I say that Mike McDaniel maximizes? No, I can't. But I can say his other coaches, do maximize, and I have to give them and especially Weaver. Before you were coming on, I was talking about how that man has been given an incomplete puzzle every single year, missing either pass rushers one year or missing an entire secondary the next year. Like, how the F do you do that, bro? How do you tell a coach, here's your defense, it has no pass rushers, have at it. Here's the defense, they have no secondary, and we have a bunch of young defensive tackles and linebackers that can't cover. Have at it, bro.
Yep, I agree. Weaver is doing a better job each week as he gets to know these players, and you're seeing the effect out there on the field.
The great white wonder, Ethan Bonner, got an interception today.
One-handed interception. How about that in the end zone, baby? Snatched it out of the air. How about
white
that?
Wonder. Who says white men can't jump?
That's right. Exactly. Maybe people who have watched Jokic play basketball, but aside from that, Big O, right, it doesn't apply anymore.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk. Chris, as always, thank you, my brother. You're a stud. We'll catch up next week.
All right, Big O. We'll do it next week.
Thank you. EJD Construction. It's the reason why this segment happens. We thank Chris Perkins for joining us. 305-433-4843. Custom home construction, major home remodeling, fully insured, folks. Liability and workers' comp. So whenever someone steps onto your property, they can never sue you. If they get injured, something happens, please. By the way, if you don't hire EJD Construction, make sure whoever you do hire, they have to show you that they're fully insured before they step onto your property. If they don't, do not hire them. That's just a tip, okay? I'm not telling you have to hire EJD, but hire somebody like EJD that is fully insured. That's why they have a AAA rating from the Better Business Bureau. Lots of our listeners have called over the years. By the way, it's only for homes and businesses. They don't do condos at EJD Construction, all right? 305 433-4843. You need a second floor. You need a third floor. You need a whole new house. You need a roof. You need a pool. Whatever it is that you need to do, call EJD Construction. They do it all. 305-433-4843.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins post-game report with the Sun Sentinel's Chris Perkins. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
Right. Let me see what we got here on the chat board. Let's see. Moni says, some of you guys don't know football at all. Tua as an excuse like he's the only problem is called lack of football knowledge. Amen to that, my brother. Amen. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems on this team. And we were just talking about it. Like what Weaver has is incomplete. What Barry has is incomplete. But they're finding ways to make the best of those situations. And God bless them. Hey, tight ends, man. They found ways to get production from their tight ends. I give them a lot of credit, man. Rob goes, this is it. They're keeping McDaniel. Sorry, well, sorry for you too, bro. If anybody thinks keeping McDaniel is a good thing, this is like, it's about the dumbest shit there is in the world. Okay. Will says people should start giving more credit to Butch Barry for a strong running game. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And, the development of Savanaya, which is really cool. Even Cole Strange is playing better than when he started. So this is, it's really cool. Juan Martinez, this is a lousy chat and it reflects the show. We're streaking myths. I don't know what that means. But sorry about that. Alan Caballero, you can't run every down. No, but you sprinkle in the pass. But you're going to be running most downs. That's just kind of the way you've got to play off of it. You can't be any pass. You can never be pass heavy anymore right now with this offense. The way it is. It's not a good run. It's not a good pass blocking line. It puts your quarterback at risk, and he has no confidence in those guys. So look at the touchdown. Look at the touchdown, how ridiculous it was. He had a guy draped all over him. And still, I got to tell you something. Sean Stanley, sir, if I told you there's a defender draped on Tua, do you think he really completes that pass, being as short as he is and light? No. I was shocked that pass was right on target. It looked like he had already, was in the motion of releasing that. By the time he got hit, it didn't get him out of his rhythm of throwing, which is amazing. Amazing, because he's not a big dude that can shelter that hit and still, I was shocked, and that's how bad this line is. So you have to be a run-oriented offense. Unfortunately, man. Unfortunately, that is the game. By the way, I see that you have got Toyota of Hollywood there, and we love talking about Toyota of Hollywood. Herbie Lopez and the great people out there at Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7. They do exceptional work, folks. They've got over 2,000 cars, over 1,200 new cars. They are the official #1 volume sales dealership of the Southeast United States. How about the Camry LE? Super reliable vehicle. I drive a Camry every day. $299 a month. The Camry LE sedan. They got it right now, 0 down, 2025 model. They've got no payments for 90 days, 2.75% financing for four full years, 0 down. Go see Herbie Lopez. Go check out the vehicles. The place is like a superstore. And by the way, you get away from all the elements because they've got floor after floor of cars all under roof. So you get away from the heat and the rain or humidity. It's a beautiful thing. So you can pick the car you want, the color you want, the style you want, all in comfort and get the price you want at Toyota of Hollywood. All right, folks. We thank Chris Perkins. We thank the great David Furones. We thank the amazing Sean Stanley. We thank the Dolphins for giving us a win, 4 in a row, 5 of the last 6. We'll see if they can get to 500 next week on Monday night. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We'll be discussing this and many other things as the Inter Miami wins the championship. The Heat, are they regressing? The Panthers, are they hurting a little bit? You know, we got all kinds of stuff. And then we've got, of course, college football playoffs coming up. So we'll cover that. We'll talk to Manny and others, and we'll get their thoughts on UM and Texas A&M. Thank you all out there. Don't forget to continue to smash the hell out of the like button. It is very important whenever you're listening. Hit that like button, hit the subscription bell. And don't forget, you can always make a donation at any time, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
You've been listening to our Dolphins post-game show with Big O. The broadcast is brought to you by Welton Rayom, Acura of Pembroke Pines, Hialeah Park Casino, RM Contractors, Toyota of Hollywood, Haineswear, Sloman's Home Security, BigCheeseMiami.com, EJD Construction. The broadcast is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley. Thank you for supporting the platform and our fantastic sponsors. Go Fins!